record mesti bisa.
Oke, berarti sudah berhasil ya, sudah terrecord ya. Berarti
Ya,
saya mulai saja Pak Heri ya. Ini karena saya pembimbing satu, berarti saya yang membuka untuk sempro ya.
iya.
Oke, baiklah. Oke, good afternoon Surabaya time and good morning Luxembourg time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
Okay,
wabarakatuh.
in a few minutes we will have thesis proposal evaluation by Rofi, who is currently a physics student at UNER. He belongs to what batch you are, Rofi? 2021, yeah.
2021.
2021 batch. So for his thesis, he is under my supervision and also co-supervised by Dr. Hezki Hasdeo, who is currently an active researcher from BRIN Indonesia and a postdoc researcher at University of Luxembourg. So Rofi, you will be given about, I don't know, 20 minutes to explain what you are doing for your thesis, and you are encouraged to deliver your presentation in English, but do not worry. So if you can speak for the introduction part, just do it, and yeah, it will be followed by a question and answer session between you and me, you and Pak Eski, and of course from Pak Heri as well. And also for the students, if you have any question, please you can raise the question. You can type it in the chat box or raise it after Rofi finish his presentation. Okay, so I think that's all, Pak Heri, for the opening, and I give the screen to Rofi. So please share your presentation, and for all this for all the audience, I ask you to mute your microphone so you don't disturb Rofi's presentation. Okay, Rofi, 20 minutes. Start from now, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Pak Angga. Is my uh my
Yes, we
screen
can
is
hear you.
see, Pak Angga. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
We
no,
can
you need
all
to
see you.
share the full screen.
Is it the full screen, Pak Eski?
Not yet,
No,
not yet.
no, no. You
Okay.
are sharing editing skills, editing screen.
Right. Is it the full screen, Pak Eski?
Not yet.
No, it's still under editing.
Are you using two screens?
If you find any difficulties, so I suggest that you use reading screen instead. So it is still white in our screen, but then without any menu on there. So you can either
Tidak.
use the F5 to full screen it, or just use the reading screen.
Okay, it's good
So
now.
now
It's
now
good
now,
now.
now it, now it works. Okay.
Okay. Let's. I start, Pak Angga. Thanks for the opportunity, and also I thanks to Mr. Harry as my examiner that joined in this Zoom, and also Mr. Angga and Mr. Hesky as my supervisor, and I also thanks to all of my friends that also attends in this seminar of thesis proposal. Okay. For the first, I will inform to all of participants that maybe if something that I say is maybe you confuse, or maybe there is something that must to ask to me, let's just ask the question. Maybe something that I tell is different from what I mean. So just cut my presentation and ask the question. And Mr. Angga, before I start, can I have the extra minute if maybe some 20 minutes is not enough, Pak Angga?
Yeah. You can use more than that.
I think
But not
for
for too long, yeah, because
yeah.
I also have a teaching schedule at 1 p.m.
Okay. Because I think the 43 slide is not enough for this 20 minutes, Mangga. Okay.
Is it proposal examination or the result progress?
Okay. Thanks, Mangga. I will start the presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This presentation of text proposal, we start with our title of proposal. Is it formulation of nonlinear response in multi-well semi-metal? Okay, what we will discuss in this, wait, nggak bisa digeser. What we will discuss in the session, we can see from this outline. First, we will talk a lot about research background, and after that, we will talk about problem statement, goals, outcome, problem limitation, research solve, and in the last, we also talk a lot again about formulation and calculation. Okay, we will start with research background. Why we must do this research? We will start from the renewable energy. It is one of the issue that become the global issue. And from what we know, that there are a lot of renewable energy that can be an alternative to like the fossil energy or unrenewable energy. And 5 of the biggest renewable energy that we use is from wind, solar, biomass, hydro, and geothermal. And the biggest presentation of the origin of the renewable energy is came from water, from hydro, that is like 15.3% of global electricity. But is the hydro or water is the most efficient between this renewable energy? But the answer is not. And we can see from this diagram that the lower price of cost per megawatt hours is the lowest is is came from solar, that is $36 cost per megawatt hours. And from there we can see that the solar is what is that? Is the potential for us to use to be a renewable energy. Okay, it is the introduction. And how the solar as a renewable energy works. Maybe we know that we can build a solar panel or solar cell that can convert the energy from the light to the electric. And the traditional solar cell is work based on P-N junction. Maybe if some of my friends in here take a class of electronic 1, maybe we know that if we get a semiconductor that we doping, we can get semiconductor type P and type N. And if we what is that? If we get these two type of semiconductor together, we get the diode. And the phenomena of this electronic device is we call them P-N junction. And it is one of the what is that? One of the how the solar cell work. The traditional solar cell work based on P-N junction. And from there we convert the energy from the light to the electric energy. Okay. And what the problem with this P-N junction? Maybe why we just use the solar cell that based on PN junction. The problem is if we use the solar cell based on PN junction, it is like the problem in efficiency. If we know the Shockley-Queisser limit, it is like if we use this PN junction, we can see that from this diagram that if we have a bigger band gap, so the maximum efficiency will decrease. And because of that, we must, what is that? We must change to another option that we can use as a solar cell, but not based on PN junction. And from here, I will introduce the phenomena of bulk photovoltaic effect. What is that? In the simple word, we can say that bulk photovoltaic effect can allow direct generation of current in material, and we don't need the PN junction. And how the BPVE arise? How can we get this phenomena? We can get this phenomena from the geometry and topology of electronic wave function. And in the simple word, we can say that BPVE rise depend on what is material we use. Some material can get a big BPEV and some another is not. And it is like we don't need any PN junction again. We just need the material that can directly convert the energy from photon to electric energy. And it is the phenomena that can be the option, the alternative option, except of PN junction as a solar cell, as a base of solar cell. And for the what's that? And for the comparison between PN junction and BPVE, we can see from this table, from mechanism, we can see that PN junction use PN junction to paired charge, but in BPVA, the current is directly generated due to material properties. And in BPVA, we don't constrain with Shockley-Queisser limit, that in the PN junction, the efficiency is constrained by this limit. And also, there is some of the difference between PN junction and BPVE. Okay, we was talk a lot about BPVE and solar panel and also PN junction, and how it is related to what we will research. Maybe if I remember that my title of this thesis proposal is Formulation of Nonlinear Response in Multi-Well Semi-Metal. What the relationship between this title and what I say in some slide before about solar cell and also BPVE? Maybe from this question, maybe from this title, the question arises: what is nonlinear response, and also what is multi-well metal, and why we use this material, the multi-well metal, and importantly, what we will do in this research, and why is it important to do? Okay, maybe in this research background, I will talk about the answer of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this 5 question. Maybe we will start with the multi-well metal. What is multi-well metal? Because I think it is I don't find any something in the curriculum of physics in UNER that talk about that. So I think we will discuss from the beginning. Maybe if some of our friends here that in the fourth semester take a quantum mechanics lecture, we can see that if we will know how the quantum state of particle or system of particle, maybe we just use the Schrödinger equation and solve this equation to get the wave function, and from the wave function we can like what's that? We can know how the quantum state of particle, like maybe how the probability of particle found in somewhere, just like this. And okay, is it the first step that we will discuss to get the definition of what multi-well metal acid?
Prof, just to remind you that you have used 10 minutes for your presentation, so please, yeah, if you can concise your presentation within another 10 minutes, it will be okay.
Okay, maybe I will present more faster, Mangga. Okay, but this equation is not enough to describe the relativistic case, because if we take a modern physics lecture, we know that the energy is like this one, this right side, that energy is linear to the momentum, but in non-relativistic case, the energy is not linear, but quadratic of momentum. And from there, one of the physicists, Paul Dirac in 19 and 20H proposed the new formula to counter the relativistic case, and the Schrödinger equation what is that? Modified to get the Dirac equation like in this one. And also if we set the mass to be equal to 0, we get the Weyl equation. And from Dirac equation, if we solve, we get the Dirac fermion, and from the Weyl equation, if we solve the equation, we get the Weyl fermion. And one example of the Dirac fermion is the electron itself. If we also consider the velocity, but for the Weyl fermion, from the beginning of the theory in like 1928 and 1929, we don't find any candidate of Weyl fermion. Maybe some of particle like neutrino can be a candidate for the Weyl fermion, but if I don't wrong, in 2015, it is found that the neutrino also have mass and cannot be the Weyl fermion. Okay, but in 2004, Andre Geim and Konstantin Novoselov found that there is the material, the name is graphene, that have the linear dispersion. Maybe if we know that the electron not have the linear dispersion, but in this, but the quasi-particle of electron, like if we consider the not only one electron, but the electrons, the lot of electron in this material, we can see that the behavior is different if we compare to the single particle of electron, like they have linear dispersion. And also in 2015, there is the experimental discovery of Weyl metal in thallium arsenate, if I don't wrong, thallium arsenide. And in here, the quasi-particle of electron is found that the behavior behave as well fermion that we in some decades don't find any single particle of well fermion, but in the quasi-particle we found the well fermion, and we call this material well metal. It is the what is it? The different. It is the difference between direct fermion and also well fermion in the linear dispersion, and also this the picture of thallium arsenide. And in the what is that? If we compare the graphene and Welsum metal, we can see some of difference here. And what I will say that graphene and Welsum metal, if we look to the excitation of this material, we can see that the quasi-particle have different behavior if we compare to the single particle of electron. Okay, not only Welsum metal, recently we know that the Welsum metal is just what is that? Is just one material that become what is that? It is like there is material that more general than Welsum metal, and Welsum metal just only the family of what we know as multi-Welsum metal. And what the difference between multi-Welsum metal and Welsum metal, we can see that if we get Welsum metal, we can see that in all of direction the dispersion is linear, but in multi-Welsum metal it's not. It's like only linear in one direction and in another direction is not. Okay, now why we choose multi-Welsum metal as a material in this research? We know that multi-Welsum metal have higher topology, and because of that, maybe it can be a candidate that have higher what is that efficiency for what we talked in the beginning about BPVA. Okay, now we will talk about what is nonlinear response. Maybe if we know, like, it is the example, if we get polarizability that proportional to electric field, we maybe just what is that? We maybe just consider the first part, but maybe we ignore the proportionality to the a powers of 2, a power of 3, and etc. And but maybe if we get the condition when the electric field is large, we cannot ignore this second and third part of this right hand side equation. And if we look to this equation, the first part is linear and the another part is nonlinear. And in this research, we will focus on how to formulate the second order shift conductivity that we suspect can be a base of understanding BPVA to be the alternative of solar cell. And what we will calculate, it is the second part of this equation. Okay, it is what we will do in this research. We will formulate the nonlinear response, specifically shift conductivity in multi-Welsum metal. And why is it important to do? We can see from the data that the research in this field is increased rapidly. For example, if we search Welsum metal in the ScienceDirect in here, we can see that just some years, just 1 decade ago, it is only 6 research about Welsum metal, but now it is like more than 200. And also there are some research, experimental research that report that in Welsum metal they have a large second harmonic generation, and not only large, but also it is the biggest that have reported. And because if second harmonic generation in Wells metal is large, I think another nonlinear response like shift conductivity is also can be large. And the third, we also discussed that the multi-Wells metal have larger topological charge. So I think the effect, if Wells metal have a nonlinear effect, so multi-Wells metal can be larger than Wells metal. So we choose this material. And also the last what is that? The last cause why it is important to do is what we say in the beginning. It can be application for like solar cell and also optoelectronic device. Okay, from here we can get to the problem statement. What the problem here? In here we will answer these two questions. How can the second order shift conductivity in multi-Wells metal be formulated? And what are the effects of topological charge and electric field frequency on the resulting shift conductivity? Why these two? Why topological charge? Because we talk about multi-Wells metal that have larger topological charge, and also why electric field frequency? Of course, because the input, if we use the cell is the light that we can measure the we can measure the energy of light with this electric field frequency. And from this problem statement, so the goal is to formulate the second order shift conductivity for multi-Wells metal and to analyze the influence of topological charge and electric field frequency. And this is the outcome. In simple word, we can say that we can use this research to have to be the theoretical reference to another experimental study, especially in multi-Wells metal and especially in the phenomena of nonlinear shift conductivity. And also we can use this research as in the long term. We can use this research as based on BPV effect that we can use as alternative for solar cell. And in this research, the problem limitation, first we focus only on second order nonlinear response. So the third, fourth, and higher order we not discuss in here. And also we only in this study we only use the theoretical approach, and there are no experimental research in here. And also in the third, we only analyze how the topological charge and electric field frequency, how the relation between this, how the relation between these two variables to the conductivity. And is the research flow from literature review, and also it is what I expect as output from this literature review. And also after that, we the next stage is Hamiltonian modeling and also mathematical formulation, calculation using Wolfram Mathematica 14, analysis the calculation result and the conclusion. And how we can formulate and calculate this research, we can see from this flow chart that first we set the Hamiltonian, make the Hamiltonian in metric form, find the eigenset and eigenvalue, find Baire connection and Baire curvature, derive formulation for density metric, calculate shift current, and calculate I'm sorry, it is calculate shift conductivity. Okay, first we set the Hamiltonian. We for this research we use the Hamiltonian from the paper from Sang-Hyun Park and Hong Ki-min that say that the low energy effective Hamiltonian for multi-Wells metal is like in this one, Hj equal to this one. In here we can see that the Hamiltonian is depend on K. K in here is momentum, and K plus minus also sigma plus minus in here. What is that? The sigma in here is Pauli matrix that we can see we can know that the value is Cx is like this, sigma y is like this, and sigma z is like this. And also K0 and epsilon 0 in here is material dependent parameter, and depend on and the unit is momentum and energy respectively. And from this Hamiltonian, we change the Hamiltonian into the metric form. And if we get the metric form, we can calculate the eigenstate and eigenvalue of this equation. If we calculate eigenstate, we can use we can get the wave function of this material. And if we get calculate the eigenvalue, we can get the dispersion relation. And for example, I just plot this dispersion relation from the eigenstate, and we can get this plot. Okay, what special with this plot? We can see from this one. I just compare the plot for topological charge equal to 1 and the topological charge equal to 2, or in the material, or the name of material is single Wells metal and double Wells metal. We can see from this plot that in single, okay, I'm sorry, it is the name is indirect set must be G equal to 1, and in the left side must be G equal to 2. Okay, indirect set is the single Wells metal. We can see that in all direction the dispersion is linear, but in double Wells metal only one direction is linear, but another direction is not. Okay, if we look to the lambda as a eigenvalue, we can see that it is has two value, and first for false band and the other for the others for conduction band. And also from these two eigenstate, we can from these two eigenvalue, we can calculate the eigenstate, and we can find CV and CC as eigenstate for conduction band, for false band and conduction band respectively.
I think, Rofi, you need to wrap up quickly, not to go to the very detail. I think it's okay.
Okay, Mr. Haski. Okay, from this eigenstate, we can use to calculate the Berry connection and Berry curvature. For simplicity, we can say that the Berry curvature just like magnetic field in the real space, but the Berry curvature in momentum space. And the relation between Berry connection and Berry curvature just like the relation between magnetic field and magnetic vector potential, that we can see that Berry curvature is the curl of Berry connection, and we can find Berry connection from the eigenstate. Okay, from if we already have the Berry connection and Berry curvature, the next step is we formulate the density matrix. We can get the formulation from the Hamiltonian from the paper from Pollini and Rostami that discuss about nonlinear effect in multi-Wells metal too, and we can derive the density matrix. It is the formula, and after that we can use all of what we get to calculate the shift current. In here we calculate the shift current, and after that we know that the relation between shift current and electric field is just like this. These two variable is what is that? connected by the coefficient. The name is conductivity. So because it is the safe current, the conductivity is safe conductivity. And after we doing the calculation, we can see that some part of safe conductivity is related to what is that? To like electric field in the some direction, like ax quadrat or ey quadrat, ez quadrat, and some of part is related to ex to the ex and ey and etc. And from this formulation, we can get the conductivity like this. It is the example if we will calculate the conductivity in the what is that? In the component is Ixx. It means that the safe current is in direction of I and the electric field in a direction of XX, and we can get the formulation. We can get the value of safe conductivity from this formulation. And just using this method, we also get another component of safe conductivity, that the total of the component of this conductivity is 27. Okay, it is my presentation. Thanks for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.